It is so hot and stuffy in this room at the moment. It's been like 33 for the past couple of days. I
Shut the
am
front door.
already sticky and gross. So if you hear like my computer whirring from all the fans turning on, or if I just start looking like particularly sweaty, it's because of temperature.
Well, I mean, this is more of a me problem than a listener problem, isn't it? Because I have to look
Well,
at your sweaty ass.
yeah, audio, and I should actually turn and face you. So that's on me. But if you hear it in
No,
the
don't.
audio,
No, don't.
okay,
No, I like it. I like it.
okay, great.
Do you have a
Um,
hairy bum?
yeah, I have a bit of hair around there.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate design kind of feature, isn't it?
Is
The
it a
I'll say it's
feature or
like,
is it a bug?
well, it's like if I've been thinking a bit about like if God or reasons why there's no God,
Uh huh.
right? But like in terms of like, well,
Bumps.
there's no God because why would a God create like dandruff as a problem? Like just stupid stuff. Like
Yeah.
or do you reckon he just like puts it in motion and then it's like, oh, I didn't think of
Let's just see where it
everything. And
goes.
dandruff is a kind of a is one of those kind of blind spots that I had.
Maybe he's like dandruff is just you not taking care of yourself. I didn't create dandruff. This is you not using the right shampoos. Not moisturizing that scalp. This is on you. This is not God's plan. But I'm gonna let you learn your lesson on your own.
Yeah, I love that. God's like on the side of big shampoo.
Yeah, big fructis.
He sides with Pantagania fructus.
Yeah.
He's in on it.
Yeah, it's they kick him up a commission for everyone who he gives skid dandruff to. So
Yeah.
it all makes him whole in the end.
I
I
shaved my
believe.
bum the other day.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, just a trim.
I believe that the like body hair thing beyond like temperature regulation stuff, like when we were last apes and everything. I think it sticks
Mm,
around because it's like it prevents friction, right? Like if you don't have any
sure.
hair, you're like chafing everywhere. So it's
Well, why
sort
do
of
ladies have less? Why do they need to chafe less?
I don't know. I don't have all the answers.
Yeah,
Maybe because God hated women and just wanted their life more miserable. I mean, the
but God is a
Bible.
woman. God
Oh,
is a woman.
okay. So
But
it's more
no one
like a
hates women more
masochism
than
things.
women. No one hates women more than women.
I don't know. I think all of the women murdered by men probably would disagree.
Well, it's a 50-50 split,
Okay, so then your
as
statement
a
of no
guess.
one hates it more than women is you've walked that back.
As a guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, been watching too much Tarantino lately, I think.
Okay. Does he hate women or love women? It's a bit hard to tell sometimes.
He loves their feet.
He does love their feet.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Hmm.
How are you, man?
I'm all right. I'm all right. It's back to sort of normal life, normal work, normal everything except temperature.
Boo.
Boo. Indeed. What
That
about you? Do you
sucks.
have the house to yourself?
Got a house to myself, but let me tell you, man, got a mouse problem.
A mouse problem, and I'm
Oh,
assuming not the technological kind.
no, no, the regular kind, the
Oh
organic
gosh,
kind. Had a mouse uh, in the house,
house mouse.
not grouse. Grouse is a word that doesn't get
It
used
should
as
come
much.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's been this fucking little mouse that, it comes out usually at night.
That's the
And,
classic time.
every now and then you're like, we'll be, I don't know, watching TV or something. Go up 9 p.m. to get a thing of water. We haven't been in the kitchen for 2 hours and see this little fucking thing scurrying across the floor.
Oh.
And then the other day I was in the kitchen at lunchtime, like pretty heavy foot traffic time.
Yeah.
And the fucker runs across my foot.
Wow. Completely
So brazen.
unconcerned. Do you reckon that actually Lauren's parents encouraged this behavior?
Well, don't get me started on that, but they might have, indirectly encouraged it, if you know what I mean.
Right. Left
Um,
cheese all over the floor.
eh. Anyway, we bought some rat sacks, right? You know those poisonous things.
Yeah, yeah.
The kind of it's meant to incentivize the rats to kill them, and then it essentially just boils them from the inside. Very barbaric. Then we also got some mouse traps, right? And I laid out these mouse traps in the pantry because that's where I think the entry and exit point is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I lay this? What do I use as bait? And we had the only cheese we had was blue vein cheese. So I've been putting blue vein cheese every night in the hope
That's such a classy trap.
I know, but this is the thing.
That's $20 a pop.
I know, this is the thing. That you wake up in the next day and the mousetrap is completely licked clean, like not a trace of blue vein on there. And
but
so I'm
didn't
just
go
like,
off.
Didn't go off. And I'm doing this like pretty much once a night, not really changing my tactic.
Yeah.
And essentially what I'm doing is just giving, this mouse like allowing him to develop a very sophisticated palate. And he's completely outsmarting me. So then the other day, and this goes on for like a week and a half, then the other day, also we looked into like buying...
So sorry, it failed for like 10 days straight. And every night you put cheese out and every morning there'd be no cheese on the thing. And you thought, well, maybe this time we'll get cocky and it'll mess up. When clearly all evidence points to the fact that this is not setting off the trap.
Yeah, it wasn't very well thought out on my part. Also,
what about adding poison to the cheese? Now that you've established it'll lick the cheese, put the cheese down, put the rat sack on the cheese, and then it'll eat it.
What's like? I don't have any cyanide.
Wasn't the rat sack a poison?
Yeah, but they clearly don't want the rat sack. Like they clearly, I think they actually do. But
if you put it on the cheese,
but they have to eat through the rat sack in order to get the poison, I think. Anyway, Nick, this is not again. Stop victim blaming me. So I did that for like 10 days, no results. This fucking French mouse is just getting bigger, buffer,
sugar daddy,
and more sophisticated by the day. and so I'll go out, and then we looked into buying sticky kind of glue traps. Now I don't know if you've heard about these glue traps, but essentially the mouse will run across and they'll get stuck on the thing, on the mat. Yeah. And then essentially just fucking starve or die. Yeah. And I looked into this and they're actually illegal in Victoria. That's how barbaric they are. Oh. Lauren was just like, get them. Just like fucking who cares? Yeah. I have a modicum of empathy and compassion for all of God's creatures. So I was like, we're not doing that. Like the idea of actually like best case scenario, we catch this mouse. We wake up in the morning and this mouse has just been kind of tired, has just exhausted itself from trying to escape this trap and it's just like still alive. Yeah. And then I'm going to have to throw out,
a sticky mouse.
Dispose of this sticky mouse. I can't do that. So, we got these mouse traps, and then I saw online that you can mice really hate peppermint oil and eucalyptus oil. So I was kind of washing the floors every day with that. And then what I did was there's kind of a gas pipe that goes from the oven into into the pantry on the floor, and it's got kind of two holes around the pipe. So that the pipe can go through, but I think that's where the mice are coming in and out. Yeah. So what I did was I put a mouse trap with no bait on either side. So when they come out of the hole, they have to to come down, they have to step on it. Yeah. And wouldn't you know it, 2 hours later, caught.
Wow. Dead.
Yeah, I got a photo if you want to put it in the chapter notes. But the guy,
I don't know.
The little guy, the poor little guy was the way that it kind of came down on its neck. Sorry, this is way too graphic. But
it obviously came to the story.
Came down so fast and was so shocked, like put him in shock, that his eyes were still kind of looking up, but he was dead, and he was stiff as a fucking rake, like not erect. He wasn't horny. he had like rigor mortis.
So this was like a BDSM thing for this guy. Like he was just edging and finally went too far.
Little Michael Hutchins. Gonna leave this in?
No. Welcome to Deep Thought, everybody. Oh, so nice to be back and just competent and talking about words in the normal way that we do on the podcast together. Sitting through the internet with me, my friend Michael. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Nick. How are you? Hi.
That's so kind of you to ask. Thank you. I'm great. Nice to be here.
Yep. Great second take there on the intro, Nick.
Thank you.
Really
Yeah,
nailed it there. On
deleted
the
the first one, and I don't think anyone will have noticed the forced nature of the second attempt.
Lovely intro. Love it when you call us competent in the intro. Really highlights how competent we are.
Yeah,
it's like I am competent.
Yeah.
It's all a bit of a.
It's a schmozzle today.
I'm just a bit of a mess. You're very flustered.
I'm flustered, literally from temperature, and I'm self-conscious now because we've got neighbours straight out that door, and now I can't talk about all of them without worrying that they're going to be listening in.
Yeah, didn't you have a bin issue a few months ago with them, or wasn't there?
That was at a different house. That was a different house. Yeah.
All right.
I'll tell you what I did here the other day, though. I got up in the middle of the night to relieve myself into the toilet bowl, and as I did, with piss wee, yeah. Okay. And when I did so, the window was open. We keep that one slightly ajar for smell reasons. And this is maybe like 2:30 a.m. And right out through the back, all I could hear was, just someone really going to town out through the back
with
fence. With sex.
Was it sexual?
Just doing big sexy times over the back fence. Yeah.
Was it heterosex?
It was heterosex. I'd know a woman's moans anywhere.
I love it when I hear people having, like, when it's at a safe distance.
Please, Michael, go on.
If you, I'm on fire today.
Yeah.
You ever walk past like a hotel, like down a hotel hallway, and just heard sex going on in a room? I mean, it just puts a smile on your face.
I mean, I do. Like, I was appreciative. I was like, that gentleman, whoever he is, seems to be treating that woman with a degree of courtesy and respect, and everyone seems to be having a great time. So I was, not put off by it. I was approving for sure. Yeah,
I mean, hopefully. I mean, it could have been sex, and it could have been him slapping her really quickly in the face and go,
That's true. It's true. I couldn't see anything, so who knows really what was going on.
Hopefully.
Well, anyway, now they know because my window's open and I've just told that story to them. So,
we'll see also from their perspective on their podcast right now, they're saying, so we were going to town the other day and we just heard this fucking guy at 2:30 with the thickest stream you've ever heard. Wait, actually, someone told me about this thing the other day.
How did that prompt a thought? Okay.
Oh, you'll see. That apparently there's a thing that guys do in toilets where they'll piss directly into the bowl because it makes them sound like they have a bigger dick.
That's psychotic.
I know it's psychotic. So I had a friend, I'm not kidding, I had a friend who said, do you ever do that to make it seem like you have a bigger dick?
To who?
This is what I said. I'm like, why do I care about, the strange men also, pissing and shitting about whether they care about my dick size? And he was like, oh, it's just like a kind of an alpha thing. I'm like,
that's weird.
You're a bit weird.
That's so weird. I'm going into a strange restroom with a bunch of people, blokes that I've never met. And as a heterosexual man, what I want them to be thinking out is, wow, listen to how much piss comes out of him. He must have a huge dick. Just normal straight man things.
Yes, it's very straight man. It's like there is no way that like there is an equivalent here of like women. Like there's
no one.
But I've started.
I don't think there's even
a
gay man equivalent thing, and we actually care about penis size.
Like, I mean, there would make sense, like in a kind of a gay nightclub.
Sure,
for example.
But I promise you, the toilets in the gay nightclub, people don't need to listen to find out other guys' dick size.
Yes, they can use the glory.
They've got other options. Yes.
So that was a strange thing to learn about a friend.
Yeah, and I guess you'll now never speak to them again.
Well, tell us in the comments if you do that, and if you haven't done it but you're going to try it out, and let us know.
Give it a crack. See what the guys say.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be nice for the ego. Just you pop out of the cubicle and someone says, "Oh,
nice stream, buddy.
Nice stream."
As they bow.
Yeah.
You are now the alpha of the toilet.
You can use any sink you please.
Someone comes out with a hand towel. I'll get that for you, sir.
No. Put that paper towel back. You can use the automated machines. Only for alphas.
Alphas only.
The alpha only Dyson access. What's new on your side of the world? You've alluded to your house situation. Are you settled into the new job stuff?
So we moved the folks out over the course of last weekend and kind of this week gradually as well. So we do finally have the place to ourselves, and we've got, I'm sitting in an empty room here that has a bookshelf full of books and empty boxes, and the bookshelf is full of books because my game plan when it comes to unpacking and moving into a new place is just do the fun stuff. And so I didn't unpack the furniture. I just immediately was like, let's take out the records and the books and set up the TVs and then maybe call it a day. And
Lauren, it doesn't matter if we don't have anywhere to sit or to eat or any cutlery, but we can get the records going.
We'll get the records going. I put up some art, So we don't have things to sit on, but we have nice things to look at.
Yeah, I mean that's halfway there, isn't it?
The other stuff's really boring. It's just kind of boring unpacking and stuff.
And when did you get diagnosed with ADHD?
Yeah, I mean that's another thing I'll tell you about off pod.
Oh, really?
Yeah, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff in the works, Nick. I'm feeling Lauren is very hungover today, and we both kind of drank the same amount last night. Went to a friend's house, and I just woke up feeling $1,000,000, and she has never felt worse. And it's kind of it's an interesting dynamic when one person is kind of bouncing off the walls with energy, and the other is like wanting to kill themselves.
Yeah, that is an interesting dynamic.
But I've got a leg of lamb in the oven.
God, okay. Have you set a timer?
Yeah, 4.5 hours. I'm slow cooking that bitch.
Okay, yeah, you are. Yeah, wow. What
was the question?
I'm trying to remember how we got onto this.
I just had 2 Coke Zeros.
Okay, no wonder you're popping. What was I gonna say? I feel like
moving in, house thing.
Yeah.
It's all kind of boring. I'll let you know. How it goes, but there's not much of an update apart from for the first time in like a month and a half that we have actually 2 months that we've had the place to ourselves.
Yeah,
so it's been nice. Been very nice.
That's cool. I don't have a huge deal of stuff to talk about because my work life has sort of been dominant at the moment. I'm doing stuff on games. I'm working towards putting in another proposal for a funding for our show in the start of February. So we've been finishing scripts and things for that, which is going well. Cool. So that's cool.
Cool. It's going well.
So we attempted to get this show funded in April last year and were not successful at that time. But we've rewritten a brand new pilot episode and we've retooled the second episode. And the network is on board again to resubmit. So we're just getting all our pieces in place and we're going to give it another crack. So
hell yeah.
So that's sort of been dominating things at the moment. But that's been
good.
fun.
That was your New Year's kind of, not resolution, but wish, I guess, wasn't it? Like
just trying to get the next thing going. Last year, I think I said that on the pod that I attempted to get 5 different shows going across the course of that year with different groups, different stages and all that kind of thing. And I just like the next one. I just like the next one to go, please. So that's good. That'll be positive.
Cool.
And then the other thing we did yesterday, which was kind of fun, and maybe you have done this too, but Gym Talk, hashtag, gains.
We need a jingle for Gym Talk. And it just needs to be like an electric guitar or soming or like
just like
a quick like hammer thing, like Gym Talk.
Well, at least it's not chat because all of our or news, I should say, at least because all of our jingles so far are news related. So,
well, what's another word for chat or talk that starts with G, like gossip, gabble,
gabble, Jim,
because it's not J. G and J are interesting letters because
how about it? Gim gab. and we just mispronounced Jim.
Why not? All right, give me
Anyway, so 2 nights ago, Casey was like, "Do you want to go do a body scan?" I was like, "What?"
Oh, hell yeah.
It's like what a body scan, which is one of those things where you go and stand on like electroconductive plates, and they like give you things to hold, and then they somehow tell you what your body composition is. I'm not sure the science is super accurate, but
it's the ones that you float in, right?
No, so it's the standing one. So this is not. I think like there's various different types of it.
Yeah,
there are ones which are like actually scientifically like legitimate, called I think DEXA scans, and they actually use X-rays to like image the inside of your body and work out, how much fat and how much muscle you have and that sort of thing. Like there are legitimate ways to do it, and then there's the way we did it, which is where you go basically stand on a scale, and they shoot like electro currents into you, and then measure the impedance, and are like, oh, you have this much body fat, which I think is lower down on the accuracy scale.
No, well, they actually had a smart scale, that would send like an electric signal through your body and determine your body composition.
Yeah,
and it's connected to an app. And the first time I did it, it said that I had like a body fat percentage of like 32%.
Yeah,
which is morbidly obese, and it literally will say on the app you are obese.
Yeah,
because you put in your data.
But BMI is complete bullshit. You can very happily ignore any time anyone talks about BMI because it's absolutely irrelevant. It is. I mean, we've talked about this in the past, haven't we?
No, sure.
BMI was made up years ago as a population level metric to assess and categorize an entire million person sample of people, and is not intended at that creation to be applied to individual peoples. And then furthermore, those categories of where like obesity begins and where normal begins and those kind of things, overweight begins, those thresholds were decided by, I think, like big agriculture, if I'm remembering correctly. Okay. Like it was decided by committee from people being like, we feel like it should be maybe 31, not 30, and like they just,
so it's not scientific.
It's like you can take very little from it, particularly because, as you've pointed out, if you work out and you have muscle weighs more, you can be in the obese category or the overweight category, yet be like Dwayne the Rock Johnson is Drain the Cock Johnson is obese, but he's clearly not unhealthy, just by those BMI metrics. He's obese. So, disregard it. Okay. Anyway.
Well, feel better.
You have a smart scale.
Not anymore.
Okay. But we have a smart scale too, but it's just a came up brand off the shelf thing. It does the weight, but you don't really trust the body fat thing. So Casey saw this one and he was like, oh, do you want to do like the gym body scan thing? And there was this one that he found that did the electroconduction thing that we're talking about, where it measures the speed at which currents travel through the body, and because of the difference in the speed of that conduction between fat and between muscle and water and that sort of thing, it can then estimate what percentage of your body is those various substances. And it had a 3D camera thing. And we're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So went to the to this gym place, which had it all set up, and paid, I think, $55 a pop for each of us. Not too bad for the two of them. And did this thing. And of course, really all that we're interested in is beating the other person. Because, yes, it's nice to have this data. And I suppose in a year's time, we can go back and see how the numbers have changed or whatever. But really, in the moment, what we're looking for is a comparison between the two of us as to which of us has the lower body fat, the bigger biceps, the more muscle tissue or whatever it is. So we go to this.
Another perk of being in a homosexual relationship is you can have even competition.
Exactly, it's a fair game, fair fight. So we go to this this place out of town slightly. Go to this gym that is neither of our regular gyms, but you could just book and go in. And there's this basically like a teenager manning the thing on like a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
No one else there. And he goes in, and it's all basically set up on this iPad, and you can just type your details in and go, and he's showing you what to do. And the first thing is basically take your shoes off, stand on this thing, hold the paddles, and it does the equivalent of your bathroom scale thing. So that all comes through, prints off this data, gives it to us. The second one is this 3D scanner where you basically have to strip off and then you stand on this platform and you hold these handles, and then there's a camera on this sort of stick in front of you, and then as you stand there and hold the handles, the platform rotates you in a circle, and so you just do a 360 in your underwear as it like takes a scan of you. Quite fun, to be honest.
And this teenage kid is just
no. So this is the thing.
Time?
So the first time we're just doing the standing on the pad thing, and then it's like, all right, so for the second one, you sort of you have to like take your clothes off. So I'll leave you in here. Should I leave? Do you both want to stay in here? I was like, yeah, it's all right. We've seen each other in our underwear before. Yeah. So he locks the door. And it's like, and I explained to him what homosexuality was, and he was really quite enlightened. He said, "Oh, great, that sounds fun. I'll give it a go." So then he locks us in this office, and then I take my clothes off, and like this is a unusual situation. We're locked in this room together, just getting naked.
Kind of hot.
Yeah. And so we, did our business, and then we focused on the 3D scan.
Yeah, it's like one of those hotel beds that rotate, so you can see everything.
There's a mirror on the ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do the cycle, enter all your detail through, and then it sends through this report to your email afterwards. And I was like, let's check these numbers, It tells you that it's biological age. It calculates, I guess, based on
really
some degree of fat to muscle ratio. I don't know. It doesn't explain any of this shit.
Okay.
And my biological age was 36, apparently. I was like, oh, that's not bad. I mean, I'm almost 35. That's pretty decent. And then Casey's was 39. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
But
how old is Casey?
Same as me. Slightly younger.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And then body fat percentage, I was under Casey, and I was like, yes.
Really?
And then yeah. I mean, he's a.
I didn't mean really as in, well, you fatty.
No,
he's a pretty slim looking guy though.
He's got CrossFit mass. He's got a bit of heft. But so. We have our 3D scan. They email through this 3D model of you, and that's disconcerting to see yourself as a 3D render.
Is it you? I was kind of imagining like a hologrammy kind of.
I mean, it's not a camera, but it's like it's your physique. I don't know what.
Yeah.
It must be like infrared or some
Is your
kind
face
of.
on it?
It's like not fully defined, but it is my head, my hair, my face, that kind of thing. Okay. So then you've got this body model of yourself, and it's doing things like telling you posture, like telling you how much of your weight you have on each foot evenly, and whether you lean slightly left or slightly right, and head tilt and all this weird stuff. It was
like
quite
some
revealing.
of this is too much.
I mean, I don't know what you meant to do with that.
You should never know.
I don't know what you meant to do, knowing that my right shoulder tilts 2 centimeters left. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
The only thing you can do is develop some sort of tick or start to overcompensate because you got told by a teenage boy in a Kmart that you lean slightly
forward
to the left.
Yeah.
But now you have a limp.
Now I have a limp. But Anyway, it was
smashed him.
It was a bit of fun, but I did, I think, come out on top, which is
my boy.
Is but and then last night, Casey's like, this is 10 hours later. We've just had dinner. Yes. Do you want to go for a run? I was like, oh, really?
I love that.
Where's that come from? On a Saturday night? Saturday 10 o'clock at night. You want to go for? Okay.
That's fun. You can really fuck with him on this.
Yeah. I mean,
I also love the idea.
I haven't yet
come in one day and gone, do you want to get a body scan? Just out of nowhere.
Yeah. Just gay person things.
Love it. Just before we get onto the real meat and bones here, I'm just going to give a shout out to Dave Weber and Coco just had a child.
Hey,
Wesley Weber Wong.
Wesley Weber Wong.
www.
www.coolkids/babies/org.
Very cute baby. Well done, guys. They listen.
I like that they committed to the alliteration. They had an option there, and they went for it.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
I think it's good with names. I actually really like it. I like that Wesley. It
sounds like a superhero.
It's classic.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like Wesley's kind of a classic name, but it's also kind of it's a bit funky. It's like, you don't hear a lot of Wesleys.
Wes as well. Like, it's got a good nickname built in.
Yes. Another Deep Fort fan.
Another Deep Fort baby. And I believe they said that they procreated while listening to us. So in a way, we are responsible for a child entering the world.
Wesley's got 3 dads as far as I'm concerned.
That's it. Congratulations, guys. I hope it all went well.
Yeah.
Should we get into a bit of a topic?
Yeah, man.
Are you drinking a beer?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I should get a... I'm
get
so
a beer.
hot.
Get a refreshing lemon lime bitters, mate.
I would do it. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I've locked myself in the room.
Missed you.
Missed you too, buddy. Cheers. Clink.
By the way, these Deep Fort stubby holders, I don't know, limited edition merch now, probably very valuable.
Yeah.
You know what I've realized about this merch that we got made?
Tell me what you
think. Not great quality.
I'm shocked because we spent so much money on it.
It has crumpled and warped and stained itself very quickly and very obviously. So
and unpleasantly. Yeah.
We'll get some good merch next time.
I mean, we've had a fairly decent merch run. I think our cups were really nice.
Yeah, the mugs still get a fair bit of use. You know, every now and then I'll go around to someone's house and they'll be proudly displayed.
Yeah, I like our mugs.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some coasters or something.
So this week I thought we might talk an actual topic here, which I hope we can find something to connect over. But I've been thinking a bunch about patents recently, and I have a few sort of questions for you here, but I think right off the top, I would like to know where you stand on it, and if you've ever thought about the idea of patents. What do you know of it?
Well, patent is just copywriting an idea for a thing?
Yeah, so a patent is a registration of a concept or a practical device or a mechanism, like an idea for solving a problem, you know, these kind of general scientific, I guess you'd almost call them, concepts or discoveries.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I've probably said many times in my life I should patent that.
Yeah.
Because I have so many ideas, as you know, so many good, unique ideas.
I mean, this podcast is littered with fantastic business concepts from the past.
Great business concepts, great app concepts, great games. But I don't know how you would even start the process of getting a patent, and like, maybe you can tell me, what can you and can't you patent?
Yeah. So a patent is a type of intellectual property that gives its owner the legal right to exclude others from making, using, or selling an invention for a limited period of time in exchange for publishing and enabling disclosure of the invention, i.e. telling people what it is you've done or found and making that public. And in exchange, you get to stop other people from doing that. You get the sole right to it. So this is something that we sort of take for granted. You know, we think about Tesla and patents. We think about our technology.
Vaccines.
Exactly. I was going to get to vaccines. The idea of medical discoveries, of scientific achievements being found by humans and then kept, basically, as a right for themselves to earn money off of that concept. And I just wanted to explore this in a few different avenues, because I think it's actually a really interesting place that we've reached, which is that prima facie concept of, should people be able to own an idea even if they haven't executed it, right? Just at the very top level, what do you think about that? Should you be able to own something like that without a product on the market? Should be able to take control of an idea?
Yeah, I don't think you should be able to do that. Like, it should be, because there's so many people in the world. Like, how many times have you thought about, oh, that'd be such a good idea for an app, and then you go and look it up and it's already been done.
Yeah.
And it's been done many times over. I think the first time that you do something, the first time that you see the invention through to completion, maybe then that's but like, just to be like, oh, nah, that's my idea, no one else can have it. It's like, there's like literally billions of ideas happening every day.
Yeah. And it leads to this place where you'll be familiar with the idea of a patent troll, right? Someone who can then purchase the right to a thing and sit on it and hoard it, so that then if they spot anyone else using this idea in a way that infringes on that right, they can then go after them, sue them, and get money for it, despite
So they
never
just don't
having
do anything.
despite doing nothing.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Okay, gosh, I've given you the wrong takeaway from this. I need to explain this differently. You're like,
Okay.
all I need is a couple $1 million to buy some important camera technology. Then every time Apple sells an iPhone, I can sue them and get the money for that.
That's a great side hustle, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Well, this is actually what's just happened with the Apple Watch in America. So Apple Watches currently, including the one I'm wearing on my wrist, include blood oxygen monitoring software and sensors, so it can tell how much blood oxygen, what your oxygen level is in your blood. There is a company called Masimo which claims that it has the patent to that, and they literally just in the past month have sued and successfully won the right to stop Apple from importing these watches into the US. They are off the market. They have been taken away because they claim that they have the right to this technology. And Apple has now started making, mid-generation, this 9th series Apple Watch, new versions of that where the sensor is in place, but the software is disabled because somewhere else has claimed ownership. And until this gets resolved halfway through the generation, they're no longer able to sell the device that they made.
That's silliness. That is silliness. But like, maybe you're getting to this, and maybe I'm jumping ahead, but like, how broad can you go? Because like, imagine if someone who like invented the refrigerator was like, nah, I'm the only one that can do the refrigerator, and then no one else could make fridges.
But that's the thing. Like, I mean, all of this technology,
like fridge technology,
all of this technology at some point somewhere was patented.
But what happened with the fridge? Tell me about the fridge.
I don't know fridge patent history off the top of my head. I'm sure someone's written up about it. But the idea of like refrigerants, a system which pipes, cold air. Well, actually, I don't know. Pipes warm air in past cold pads and then spits cold air out. I forget how refrigeration has ever worked. Someone invented that and held on to that technology. Yeah.
But what? But maybe if it's like a need, like if it's a necessity for human life, like you could argue that refrigeration is a necessity. But then also so you can't patent like things that humans need. But then you also need vaccines, and you can patent those.
Well, yes, we are going to get to vaccines, but I might just hold off on that a little bit because I think the medical
it's a bit different.
Well, it's just got so many other depths to it that I'd like to get into properly. But I will talk to you about the history of people patenting the wheel. So there have been a lot of criticisms over the years about the patent system, about the idea of people being able to claim that they came up with a concept or a technology. And as various people around the world have attempted and then successfully done, that patenting basic things. So in 2001, an Australian man was issued an innovation patent for the wheel. after setting out to test the workability of a new national patent system. So this guy called John Keogh was issued the innovation patent for a circular transportation facilitation device. So there are people.
I mean, I think the ancient Egyptians might have something to say about that.
Yeah. So this guy was a freelance patent lawyer himself and says that he applied for the patent in order to test a new class of new patents. He says innovation patents are not examined in detail by the Australian Patent Office. The Patent Office would be required to issue a patent for everything, he told The Age. All they're doing is putting a rubber stamp on it. So, to be fair, the office controlling patents, IP Australia, said that the innovation patent would not stand if tested in court. But clearly the procedures there are somewhat flawed if such a basic fundamental technology can be claimed as ownership by someone. So there are various arguments against the patent system. One of them is, should you get to have a monopoly just for having an idea? Or is the advantage of having that idea simply that you just get to go to market first? You get a head start.
Yes.
If you've come up with a thing that no one else has come up with, and then you execute it, that is a built-in advantage. That should be the thing that determines your success, right? The head start.
That's it. Like, because it's just it will slow down civilization so much if people can't build on ideas. Imagine if you know how fucking Isaac Newton invented gravity.
Yeah.
Imagine if he fucking painted that shit, and then he was like, nah, no one else can use gravity, and then now we just live in a world where everything fucking floats.
You've completely and competently understood this issue and re-expressed it. So thank you for your contributions. There's an article here that I just want to go through briefly, which is by an author called Derek Sivers, or Sivers perhaps, from the book Anything You Want. Ideas are just a multiplier of execution. Quote, "It's so funny when I hear people being so protective of ideas, people who want me to sign a non-disclosure agreement to tell me the simplest idea. Ideas are worth nothing unless executed. They are just a multiplier. Execution is worth millions." And then he's got an explanation here. He's got a table which have got point values. So an awful idea is worth -1. A weak idea is worth 1. A so-so idea, 5 points. A good idea, 10 points. A great idea, 15. A brilliant idea, 20 points. Right?
Yeah.
And then he's got a parallel table here talking about executions. So if you have no execution, it's worth $1. Weak execution, $1,000. So-so, 10,000. Good execution, 100,000. Great execution, 1,000,000. Brilliant execution, 10 million. To make a business, you need to multiply the two. The most brilliant idea with no execution is worth $20. The most brilliant idea takes great execution to be worth $20 million. That's why I don't want to hear people's ideas. I'm not interested until I see their execution.
Yeah.
I think that's a really succinct way to, I think, explain some of the issues I have around the patent thing.
Yeah. No, I agree with him. I'm back to the app thing. Like I've in early 2000s, I had the idea for an app, even though apps hadn't even been invented yet.
Yeah.
For Tinder, for an app. I didn't call it Tinder.
Yeah.
I called it Hot or Not. But essentially, we just swipe on people that were hot or not.
Yeah.
And you don't see me complaining about it.
No, because you didn't execute.
Didn't execute it. Couldn't be bothered.
And
then I met my future wife on it. So there you go.
So, and you had to pay for that privilege. So ironically, if you'd come up with it, she might have come to you.
Exactly. But Hakuna Matata.
Well, let's extrapolate this a little bit further and talk about the medical stuff and talk about the vaccine things, because one of the most famous cases is insulin, right? So insulin, particularly in the US, has been, until very recently, an incredibly expensive, I don't know, we call it medication, supplement. The backstory here is when inventor Frederick Banting discovered insulin in 1923, he refused to put his name on the patent. He felt it was unethical for a doctor to profit from a discovery that would save lives. Banting's co-inventors, James Collip and Charles Best, sold the insulin patent to the University of Toronto for a mere $1. They wanted everyone who needed their medication to be able to afford it. Today, Banting and his colleagues would be spinning in their graves. The drug, which many of the 30 million Americans with diabetes rely on, has become the poster child for pharmaceutical price gouging. The cost of the four most popular types of insulin has tripled over the past decade, with out-of-pocket prescription costs now doubling. By 2016, the average price per month rose to $450, rising so much that as many as 1 in 4 people with diabetes are now skimping on or skipping life-saving doses. So this is an instance in which, as you established right at the top, you're talking about how could you take a thing which has the potential to help people and put it out there behind a wall, behind a gate, and prevent people from having access to something that can save their lives. Insulin, I think, subsequent to this article, which was a Vox article in 2019, has now been brought under federal mandate, and the prices have lowered, but only after literally years of campaign and pressure. So talk to me about what you think about the ownership of medical ideas. How should a medical company that is investing money into these medications and solutions recoup their costs? What do you think the ownership should be?
Well, I don't think I don't think there should be any profit. I don't think there should be any profiteering from it at all. What's the insulin guy's name?
Banting.
Frederick
Banting.
He's got the right idea. I mean, I mean, you can recoup your costs and you recoup enough to pay people, but price gouging and boosting up the value. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I don't know what the words are, but it seems ridiculous, and it does seem unethical. But I have a question as well. Because this guy Banting didn't patent the insulin thing.
Yeah.
clearly absorbing all of this, Nick. It was
so Banting and his colleagues discovered insulin. 2 of them put their names on it and sold it to the University of Toronto for $1. Banting didn't even want his name on the patent. He disagreed with it philosophically to even have ownership over it.
So they do have the patent.
So they had the patent at the time, and they sold it for $1. They really just wanted it out there.
Okay. But then can someone buy...
Yeah.
So you're saying someone can buy
So it's a legal right. So you can just purchase
the price
a patent.
The price gouging that's happened in the States now with insulin is a result of someone else, Big Pharma, but buying the patent and then hiking that shit up?
Correct. So this is there was a study done in 2017 in the Lancet, or published in the Lancet, saying that older insulins had been successively replaced with newer, incrementally improved products that are covered by numerous additional patents. So there've been further research into the area, slight tweaks made to the formulation, slight improvements into how much you might need for a dose or what efficiency it has, that sort of thing. The result is that more than 90% of privately insured patients with type 2 diabetes in America are prescribed the latest and costliest versions of insulin, because every little tweak they make, every little new patent they do, is owned by these pharmaceutical companies, who then get to charge whatever they want because no one else is allowed to take this technology and bring it to market at a different price.
Gotcha.
So
that's dog. That's a real dog.
The soaring prices of these newer formulations is out of step with how much they improve the treatment for patients, said Yale endocrinologist Kasia Lipska. For type 1 diabetes, newer formulations appear to be more effective at controlling blood sugar than older formulations. For type 2 diabetes, it's less clear. The benefits are not as strong. So they ask, are the new insulins 20 times better? I'm not sure, but they cost 20 times more. This is, the cost of innovation argument.
But there's regulations by the government in place to cap that.
So now, the modern update to that is that they have now set some prices based. I mean, part of this is a uniquely American thing, because America doesn't regulate these prices at a federal level. It leaves it up to individual insurers to negotiate with the manufacturers, and they don't have the same kind of pressure that, say, the Australian government or the British government, which operates at a block, has to negotiate for prices. So you'll see differentials country to country. So this is a uniquely American fuck up because their healthcare system is uniquely fucked up. But the principles behind it, the idea of patenting this stuff which saves lives, is universal. The same thing has happened with tuberculosis drugs and that sort of thing. I think the other interesting area to talk about here is the COVID vaccines. So COVID received an incredible amount of government and public funding to investigate solutions and vaccines to a pandemic, that was ravaging the globe, that was killing off millions of people. And billions and billions of dollars were invested in this problem. And miraculously, we got a fucking incredible solution at a previously unforeseen timeline, and push not just COVID vaccines, but all vaccine technologies forward generationally. As we've talked about previously, the mRNA stuff, we can do tailor-made vaccines for all kinds of cancers and things coming up. It's going to be incredible. But all of these discoveries and evolutions in this technology has been patented by pharmaceutical companies, and the pharmaceutical companies are charging millions of dollars for this product now. Where do you think the line should be drawn here as to public money going into private investment? Do you think it's reasonable for us to then have to pay these exorbitant costs back for the thing we already paid for?
No, I don't.
That was a leading question.
I'm a Bernie Sanders voter. I'm a communist.
You are a communist, a famous communist.
No, I don't know. I don't know, Nick. I guess. Just I don't know. I don't have any good ideas on this.
That's all right. What do you think about philosophically, though? Do you think that you should be able to claim ownership of an idea? And we're verging here beyond just the idea of technological discovery. What about in a copyright sense, and the idea of like an art or a creation or something like that? Do you think that you should be able to hold rights to something that you've made like that?
Yeah, I guess it's different though. I was thinking about that when we were introducing the topic, that in a way, like a song is an idea, but then the execution of that is the making of the song. But then music, for example, is an interesting one because you can have, like, if you have Creep, right, by Radiohead, you can have the original version, that's the original idea and executed by the inventor. And then you can have another band doing a gospel version of Creep. And so they're taking that idea and executing it differently. And I guess that's the difference there.
Yeah.
So, and that seems...
And they have to pay royalties, right? Which is almost like paying a license fee for the patent of...
For the invention
the Creep
of the song.
Concept.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess art's a different thing, but it is the invention and the execution is tied up together. Like you're inventing as you're executing.
Yeah, that's well put. Yeah,
thanks.
Redeemed
myself from my previous stupidity.
The other interesting thing, which I think people can overlook when it comes to things like the music side of it, is those rights are tied up in very specific ways. When you look at something like the performer's rights versus the lyric writer's rights, or the musician's rights, or the ownership of the final track, they're all slightly different. And that's how you got a situation where Taylor Swift didn't own her own songs despite having written them. She didn't have the right to the final product, but she had the right to the lyrics and the creation. So she went off and made her own versions that she did own, which I think is like one of the greatest fuck yous of all time. Like, gotta respect that, right?
Love Tay-Tay.
The distinction, like the granular distinction of those individual components, where you can get royalties for being the lyric writer on a thing if you had nothing to do with the music, and the performance of a thing can get you royalties even if you didn't create it, and all this kind of thing. It's interesting how granular we've got into what ownership of an idea and ownership of an art can be.
Mm. Yeah.
Great. Do you
Well,
have
I'm not going to say anything like, I don't know, like sometimes, like I enjoy talking about, this stuff, but like sometimes you say things and I'm like, yeah, like that, I agree with it, but also like you put it like articulately together in a sentence and it sounds good and I agree with it. Do I understand it? Probably not. But then, like, what else am I going to say apart from yes?
I don't know. Occasionally it might prompt ideas or responses, but to each their own.
I'm just panicking, really, thinking. Oh, I hope this sentence, this Nick doesn't wrap this up anytime soon because I've got nothing prepared.
Do you still get royalties for your broker stuff?
Oh, dude, do we ever? I get paid over 30 cents every 4 months, every
Wow.
quarter. Every quarter?
Well, 4
Also, my
months or
maths
3
isn't
months.
great. No, we get something. We get pocket money.
Yeah.
But I did the stupid thing, even though I wrote all those songs, of dividing it 5 ways.
That was generous.
I mean, I thought I'd do like the fucking the Coldplay thing or the Radiohead thing where they're like, no, we'll just split it evenly. Regret that. I could have been earning an extra $15 every 3 months.
Yeah, you could have really been raking it in.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but now we got the rights. You and I both have the rights to all of our Christmas albums. So
yeah,
when that becomes a cult classic.
Oh, sorry, I have been meaning to tell you. I did claim 100% of the creation rights for every song. So
okay.
Yeah, no
well,
royalties.
That's fair. You do the editing. That's fine.
Okay. I wonder if we will ever get anything for those songs. Probably not.
I think in 14 years.
Okay, great.
It'll be like a kind of quirky thing that some kid will discover and it'll be put it on TikTok or something.
They'll get the vinyl.
It will be huge.
Yeah.
And we'll be still doing the pod and then we'll blow up and then fame will go to our heads and then we'll break up.
Yeah, Jesus and narrow it and it'll just still fall apart.
And that's how no one saw that coming. The end of Deep Fort happened because we got too big.
Yeah. Bodega Boys 2.0. Oh.
Yeah. Are those seagulls that I'm hearing?
Yeah.
I love that.
I told you,
my window's open. Doing
there are seagulls all over Christchurch. We're basically on an estuary. We're not that far away from the water. Yeah. Like I was in Riccarton, which is west of the city centre. Probably a good 15, 20 Ks, probably a good 20 Ks from the ocean. And I would just hear seagulls all the time. And I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You're lost. You're nowhere near where you need to be.
Do you even know what your name is?
Do you not know the point of it?
Called land gulls.
Yeah, or like suburbia gulls.
City gulls. Suburban gulls.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because like I even just hearing the seagulls through your mic there.
Yeah.
I do. It's like one of those sounds that you don't really clock consciously, but then I like immediately started thinking about the beach.
Yeah. Well, that was I don't know. I found that an interesting area to talk about.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like that you're just like thinking about these things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what about patents? Let's think about that for a week.
Yeah. Well, if that was of interest to you, then I appreciate it. We've got plenty more interesting things in our back catalogue, so why don't you scroll down that feed and listen to some of our other episodes. There's plenty there to enjoy, I promise. You can also get in touch with us and suggest topics that you'd like us to talk about, and you can do that in a manner of different ways. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, you can jump on the emails to deepfort@gmail.com, and while you're on the internet, just go through your Spotify player, hit that lovely 5-star button. On your Apple Podcast, hit that 5-star button. Give us a recommendation to some of the people you know who you think would enjoy this kind of thing, because I bet you know at least 5 or 6 people who would benefit from hearing us in their ears every fortnight. 5 or 6, every single person, guaranteed.
Yeah, maybe 1.
Maybe 1. Maybe 1. Who knows?
Mm.
How about some recommendation, Ingram? Get the keys.
welcome to Deep Thoughts Recommendation Engine.
Was that baby talk?
Yeah, my brain started to melt.
You really committed with the face as well. Like
It was because I heard myself
question.
go slightly off the rails.
It was like a Jim Carrey level of sincerity in your face.
Michael, kick us off. Kick us off.
Mate, I got some bloody huge recs this week. I'm going to kick it off with a film.
Oh.
First time since being back that I went to my home away from home, Cinema Nova, greatest cinema in the world.
Wow. Went
and saw Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage, A24 film. I forget who the director is, but he's made another film called Sick of Myself. This film, Dream Scenario, was so good. 5 stars. It is the best film I've seen in the cinema.
Give us a log line. What's the pitch?
Pitch. Kind of a loser type, Nick Cage. He's a professor. He says he does a lot of things, but he doesn't really do them, right? He doesn't execute to tie it back.
Oy.
Got a lot of ideas.
Oy.
And
look at this
he's
thematic coherence.
He's kind of blaming the world about that. Not overtly, but his wife doesn't respect him. His kids don't talk to him, and he's not getting the respect in his career. And then all of a sudden, people all around the world start dreaming of him. And he's kind of goes from being a nobody to someone that everyone recognizes. And then all of a sudden his lectures are filling up. They're at capacity. People want to take his photo. People want to talk to him, and he's someone. But then that starts to turn.
Yeah, let's not give away the whole thingy, but yeah.
I won't. But this is in the trailer. And people start to have nightmares about him.
Oh.
And it basically just explores that, and explores, how, like, what our perceptions of people that we haven't met, like what celebrity, I guess, fame, what that can do to ego, cancel culture. It's packed with ideas that it explores in a real fun and interesting way. And I'm a sucker.
So it's like parasocial relationships, right? Like connection to someone that you don't know.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
And it's so cool. The music's interesting. It's well directed. I'm a sucker for these movies that they're just kind of slightly altered reality. Just like everything's recognizable, but it's like slightly supernatural, or I don't know, metaphysical or something. Unexplainable. But it blew me away. It's also fucking hilarious. Nick Cage.
What a guy.
Nick Cage. He is so good. I'm a big fan of the Cageessence that's happening.
Yeah.
But I do also feel like I backed him through the tough years.
Yeah.
The whole time. I was even playing gigs and just put up a poster of him for no reason back in like 2013. Do you remember when I was doing that?
I do.
I do kind of feel like I discovered this band. Like, it's interesting because he had Oscars before, he did all this action adventure.
I mean, but I think you can fairly contest this as a Egregious, because you could make the argument he never went away. He's been plugging at it for 30 years without really any change in approach or a change in quality of his performances, but just with, I guess, society coming around to it, and him giving.
Well, he's just got this, like, no one else is like him. Like, he's got this acting style that is like Brechtian, kind of larger than life, making weird facial expressions at weird moments. Like, there's realism, which is like an acting style. I mean, I love hyper realism, but like in movies. But like, he's just like, he makes choices and he backs it, and sometimes they're fucking weird. But he's just like, there's no one else like him now, and I'm really happy about his newfound kind of acceptance from society. But go check out Dream Scenario at the Pictures while it's out, because it's so good. A24 as well.
At the Pictures. I might then follow up your movie with a movie. I went and saw The Boy and the Heron. Do you know anything about this?
Someone told me about this last night. Studio Gliblo. Is that what it's called?
Very, very close.
Studio Ghiblo.
Ghibli, yes. The confidence with which you said it is the fucking funniest thing. Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
Cut that.
No, that's staying exactly where it was.
Big fan of
Miyazaki's
Gibbos.
An all-timer of a director, an absolute titan of industry. Somehow, despite being incredibly well regarded, somehow still underappreciated, I think. But anyway, I think just because he works in animation and that's sort of seen as lesser or out of reach to a bunch of like serious cinema people. But The Boy and the Heron is theoretically his last movie, though he's been saying that for a while now. It's this beautiful, abstract, deep, confusing, fantastical, poetic kind of reflection on his career and his life and on war and on creativity and the constant struggles to create something new and to keep striving towards I don't know, the next thing, to leaving something to your grandkids. It's just this sort of love letter to his work and his life, and it's everything
Nostalgic.
you'd want from Ghibli. It's nostalgic, but it's like it's got that, like anyone who knows the Ghibli films would recognize that tone of like youthful curiosity and exploration, but also this sort of dark, sour, human
Very
frailty underneath it. It's just such a beautiful picture, and I'm saying picture now because it sounds more pretentious.
It's welcome.
It's great. It's a great film. I don't know if it's still in theaters. I saw this last year.
It is. It is
but
in Melbourne.
Okay, well, go check it out if you still have the opportunity, because it is really incredible. You can see it both subtitled or in an English dub, so you don't have to necessarily go to the original language one if that's not your jam. But it's really, really good.
Oh, I'll definitely check that out. We actually went to Jiufen in Taiwan, which is where Spirited Away is like supposed to be set.
Right.
Very mountainous,
that's cool.
Beautiful part of the world.
But yeah, I love Spirited Away.
Great film to watch on acid. I'm not sure if you watched this because you haven't said anything about it, but we did talk about it before it came out. But I just finished The Curse with Fielder and Stone.
Right. No, I haven't got to it yet.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
No, I haven't.
All right. Well, I won't say much, but I fucking love this show.
I'm
not a TV guy.
All the way through.
And I know that most people that I know either fell off on episode 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Fucking hated it.
Yeah.
Too cringe for them, apparently.
Yeah.
And then the last episode, which I agree was a bit out there, but I was on board for the whole ride. Loved it all. That
is so unlike you.
I know. TV show, 50-minute episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just, you know what I think it is? I think the thing that people hate about it is the thing I like about it, which is it is hyper cringe. Like it's like The Office, and I mean,
Nathan Fielder, even like the rehearsal and everything went to that place. Like it's his brand of like uncomfortable reality. But this also brings the Safdies into it, right? Like that has to be like the combination of everything that you like. And I've heard nothing but good. Yeah, well, Safdies, not bitterly, but just working on different things. But I hear nothing but good things about Emma Stone as well. Like what an interesting choice for her.
Very strange. I can feel, with Poor Things, I could recommend Poor Things as well. Brilliant film. She's really becoming like a creative actress, I think. Like she's making some real bold choices. She was in The Favourite as well, I think.
Yeah.
There was a Yorgos picture as well.
Yeah.
Like I said picture again. Maybe next time I'll wear a beret
Let's lean to it.
and a carafe. Yeah, no, she's a very interesting. She wants to be an interesting actress and make interesting choices, and she's really doing it. And she was so good in this. Like every character in The Curse is so despicable, and that's another thing. And I'm sure you have some insight on this. Is like I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, all the characters were so unlikable." I'm like, I don't need to like a character.
Yeah.
I just need to understand them, I guess, or
Yeah.
at least think I understand them. Like There Will Be Blood, Daniel Plainview, one of the worst villains in all of cinema, as far as I'm concerned. Best picture ever made.
Yeah.
I did it again. Are you kidding me? I just said picture. Now
I
I can't
mean,
stop.
best picture is the award, though. I mean, like, that's where your brain went.
I don't want to take my cues from the Oscars. I don't want to stack up with the Oscars. Anyway, the characters were despicable, but I also just kind of relished in that.
It's interesting. I mean, if I can jump onto that train of thought for a second, it's something that we face all the time in our development. People ask us, like, they're not very likable. Like I just rewatched Good Grief season 1 just this past week because it doesn't really matter why, but in that development process, we had a lot of people questioning whether Ellie, the main sister, was likable because she was brash and sort of needy and controlling and we were confident that she would be sympathetic and that we were working towards a reveal as to what was motivating her and where her empathy, where her emotions were sitting and that sort of thing. And we were brought, and because of the network and the production company, we brought forward stuff that was scheduled for the 5th episode and scattered it earlier. All the stuff with the boyfriend and the flashbacks and things, that was brought forward because people were concerned that they weren't going to just like Ellie, because if we didn't know that something else was going on, that we wouldn't empathize with her. And I'm in the same boat with you, where it's like, well,
why do you need to?
We can just
like, this
have
is
a person
not real
who's
life.
interesting. Yeah.
It's not real life. You don't need to befriend them. This is a fictional person, and you're watching this presumably because you want to step away from reality on some level.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't understand that logic, but I was a bit surprised by it. There was a good amount of hype for the show before, or maybe just the collaboration between Emma Stone and Safdie and Fielder. But I was there the whole ride. Loved it.
It is on my list. I will check it out. But I'd
be interesting to hear what you say about it, because I'm sure there are some things there that don't necessarily. Actually, I won't say that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
I think Emma Stone as well. It's been close to a decade now that she's been doing this weird stuff, because I remember really being impressed by her in Maniac with Jonah Hill, like 2016, which was a weirdo sort of show. And she was clearly A, happy to do a TV series, B, happy to do something weird or, off beat. So I think she's more than proven her bona fides in this area for sure.
Well, I still remember her. I remember the first time I was introduced to Emma Stone was Superbad, which we saw together, I think, Nick, because it was the first movie that they showed at Wallace before we started working.
Oh, is that right? I'm not sure, because I was possibly traveling, because I didn't actually start at the very start of Mitchum. I was like 2 weeks late, so I might have missed that.
Okay.
But anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's 2006, so fucking 18 years now.
Long time.
In my life.
Speaking of TV, I got a couple of shows for you. One which came to us from our good friend Sean. There's a show called Scavenger's Reign. Have you heard about Scavenger's Reign?
Looking it up right now.
Scavenger's Reign is a HBO Max show. It's an animated series, and it's basically this really interesting blend of, I guess you could almost call it like a Ghibli-influenced sci-fi show, sort of like Ghibli meets The Expanse, if that means anything to anyone listening, where there are these survivors that have crashed on an alien planet and are trying to get back off to safety, and to do so they must scavenge and repair their ship or get to the ship that's crashed using a whole bunch of strange fucking alien life. And to say much more, well, you can't really say much more without getting into very weird nitty gritty details, but it's sort of like an acid trip kind of environmental anime kind of craziness. I know it doesn't sound like your thing, but I feel like it would be your thing. There's very little dialogue. It's got very sort of unlikable, interesting characters and a whole bunch of like just crazy ass visual stuff you've never seen before. So check out the trailer. Go have a look. Incredible music as well. Really beautifully drawn and beautiful music. So this really cool, interesting. My dad is burning through it at the moment. He's loving it.
Really?
So yeah, you don't have to be like an animated guy to enjoy this show.
Cool.
Scavenger's Range is real good. And I will throw one more TV on while I'm talking about it, which is Fargo. Fargo's back, season 5. Gotta love a Coen brothers vibe. Noah Hawley knows what he's doing now.
Are the Coens in that? Are they part of it?
They're producers because it's their show. They don't have anything to do with it. It's all Noah Hawley, but he knows the vibe and he nails it. John Hamm, Juno Temple, just an incredible Jennifer Jason Leigh. Great cast this year. Great vibes. It's all like 2019 Trump era, like right wing, big cowboy kind of vibes. It's just a great show. Just a great series.
Is it still set in Minnesota?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
nice.
They bounced around a little bit. They're all self-contained seasons, but yeah, this is probably my favorite season of it, other than season 2. Like it really came back to form. It was really good.
All right. Well, I might be having, thanks to the curse, a bit of a
TV moment
foray. So maybe something like that. I reckon I could get around.
It's real. It's a juicy series. Yeah.
Yeah. My final rec is.
Is this going to be a food again?
No, it's not a food. Although they do food. It's Amazon. I've just signed up for an Amazon Prime account, and I was under the impression that Amazon, like, it was kind of not for Australians, kind of American oriented place, and they have literally everything on there, and it comes if you have a Prime account, it comes like 1, maybe 2 days later, but usually 1. And you can buy chopsticks, you can buy bookmarks, you can buy
Michael, you don't need to explain what Amazon is to people.
You can buy food if you want. You can buy crisps. You can buy a coffee maker. You can buy pillowcases. You can buy books, of course. That's how they started. But I just wanted to shout out the big guy, And I feel like a lot of time, it's kind of not cool to kind of promote. And I want to say, for the record, we are not sponsored by Amazon, although
we've got some affiliate links in the description. Yeah.
I just want to say, like, they're big for a reason, because they provide a service, and it's a good service. So I just wanted to say thanks, Amazon, and thank you, Jeff Bezos.
Not my dad.
For well, also your dad.
You're going to thank my dad as well. Thank you to all Jeffs listening, whether that is billionaire Jeff Bezos or not billionaire my dad.
Or millionaire.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't appreciate me say that. But no, Amazon, it's really great. I was just not, my eyes weren't
Michael,
opened,
you can't use Rec Engine to recommend not consumable art.
Why not?
Because it's not in the rules. Did you read the guidebook? You're always like, what I want to recommend? Eggs. They contain
very high
the embryos of chicken, but if you get them early, you can eat them for a meal. That's why we recommend eggs.
Look, I think the point of recommendation engine is to recommend things, and I think some of those things can be just like
tips. An algorithm, like an online. What kind of algorithm is spitting out recommendations for foodstuffs and online stores?
Well, it could be like, I don't know. Imagine if someone was listening to this and they're kind of a bit scruffy, and then we were like,
Everyone's
I recommend brushing your
Amazon.
hair. And then they're like, oh yeah, maybe I'll brush my hair every now and then. And then their life changes.
You know what I recommend? Hairdressers. Have you ever felt like the hair that was touching the ground was getting a little bit in the way? Why don't you go to a place that'll cut it off for you? That's why we recommend hairdressers.
Well, I mean, look,
they rub your head.
Sorry for being Thinking outside the box a little.
You should
Nick.
be. You should be.
I'll get back in my box, shall I?
Yeah, stay there.
All right. It's stinky in here.
Good.
Good times. Good chat.
times. Good chats.
I feel like I was in the pocket today.
That's good. I
I didn't immediately pat myself on the back.
I don't
Apart
know
from
about
what we
you,
talked
but I
about-
thought I did a great job.
Leave this in. Just the wrap up. We're going, I was amazing.